Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome. We are very happy to have you all at today's SRT webinar on study in Germany. My name is Frida. I'm part of the SRT team, and it's my pleasure to introduce our amazing presenters for today, Giovanna Canela Pais and Ellen Siciliani from WHU Otto Beisheim School of Management in Germany. And just to tell you a little bit about the webinar, it will take approximately 1 hour. We will first have a presentation about studying in Germany in general. Giovanna will be so kind to give us an overview of what you need to know about applying and studying there. And after this, we will have a presentation on WHU, and you will learn everything about the university, their programs, and the application process. And then we will still have some time for a Q&A session, and we will address all your questions. Thank you very much to those that have already sent their questions. We will get to those in the end. For everyone, please use the chat on the right-hand side of your screen to interact with us and write us all your doubts, questions, and comments, anything that might come up. And feel free to let us know right now where you are all joining us from today. It's always interesting to see what an international audience we have. During the presentation, we will also share the WHU University brochure with you so that you can find detailed information on the programs offered. So without further ado, let's start the webinar. Giovanna, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So, welcome everyone. I'm Giovanna, as Frida just mentioned, and I work at WHU. We call it in German WHU. Okay. So, I'm gonna give you first a overall information about studying in Germany, so that you can just know a little bit how does German universities work. Okay. So that's myself. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can always email us at bachelor@whu.edu. Okay. We'll be happy to help you. So, first of all, we always ask ourselves, why Germany? Okay. So there are like many destinations in the world, and we always say give you like a few reasons about why Germany. So first of all, this is the largest economy in Europe, so Germany is economically speaking a very well country. So this is, of course, it influences you not only by having a nice education, but also after your education and after you pass these years as students, you will need to find a job, so having a stable economy and a nice economy, this helps also students to be able to find a job after and to be able to prosper in Germany. This is a very safe country. So I know we all look for safety when we are looking for a place to study and a place to live. So Germany is very safe. It's a very multicultural environment, so English is widely spoken. More than 50% of the population speaks English here. It means that German is not 100% needed. Okay, so you can of course come here and learn German here, and in the beginning you can of course start your life here with the English language. Internationally recognized for its top class education. So Germany is the third most looked destination for international students because of the top class education that we offer in our universities. So this is another reason to why Germany. The living expenses and tuition fees are comparatively cheap. So, for example, if you compare to the US or even to the UK, studying in Germany can be way cheaper than in a lot of other countries. Okay, and we're gonna go through financial aid, scholarships, tuition fees, and everything later. But you will see the living expenses can be like way cheaper in Germany, and a low unemployment rate indication, and indication of well-trained students. What does that mean? It means that after you finish your studies, you're going to have the opportunity to stay and look for a job and start your life here. So it's not only about studying, but it's also about being able to start your life in this country. Okay. This map is the map of Germany, of course, and this region here in blue is called Rheinland-Pfalz, and we are relocated on the top of it in a city called Fallendar. It's very near Koblenz, but we're going to go through that a little later. So now, about the higher German higher education system. Okay, so just so for you to have an idea, how does it work? We have universities in Germany. We have universities of applied sciences. We have colleges of music, art, and film, and we have community colleges. So, what is the difference between them? Universities are those who offer PhDs, who offer bachelor degrees, who offer master degrees, and they are usually recognized and they offer then PhDs also. Okay, so those, and this is the case, for example, for our university, WHU. We are a university. Okay. Then you have the universities of applied sciences, the Fachhochschulen, and they offer usually bachelor and masters, but they do not offer PhDs. Okay, and they are way more practice oriented rather than academically oriented. So it's way more practical. Then you have the colleges of music, art, and film, the conservatories. They are usually for students who want to go more to the arts world. So they offer bachelor degrees and master degrees too, but usually it's configured in their own way because they are way more looking into the artistical side of things. And then you have the community colleges, which we call in German Volkshochschule, and they are more oriented for those students who want continuing education. So it's way more for adults. Not saying that a university student should not be an adult. Bachelor students are also young adults, okay? Nevertheless, in the community colleges, it's usually people that are a little older and they want to continue their education and they offer different courses and so on. Okay, so these are the options. Like this is a little bit about the German higher education system. And then we have a big difference here because there's a big topic in Germany that we have public universities and we have private universities. And public universities, they're usually for free, so we do have here a little bit of a comparison between a public and a private so that you can understand what you're going to get in one, what you're going to get in the other. So just so you know in advance, WHU is a private university. So we fall under the private category, okay? So public universities have, as I said, low or no tuition fees. And in private university, students have to pay a tuition fee, and the amount is going to vary from university to university. Okay, does not mean that these universities do not offer scholarships or do not offer financial aid. Okay. Lectures with several hundred students in the public universities. Public universities classrooms are full. They are really big. So you can have sometimes like 200 students in the same class, while in private university most of them have like maximum 80 students per class. Okay, so it's very small classroom sizes. Public universities have very limited service programs, while private universities do offer personalized teaching and counseling programs. So it's the student is treated way more as like a person, as a student, as itself. They have a private, a personalized teaching. They also have access to counseling, while in public universities, due to the number of students that they have there, they cannot offer these services. In public universities there's no or very little connection to the industry, while in the private universities we have a close connection to the industries. That means like partnerships with company for events, partnerships for internships, and so on. So again, due to the number of students, we're able to closely help our students in a private university with like finding a job, finding an internship, finding a suitable, I don't know, accommodation, or even finding a program to study abroad for a semester. So private universities are able to work on that while public universities not. Quality of equipment and facility varies from public university to public university. Okay, they're not always good, while in private universities, due to having a tuition fee and having less students, the equipment available and the facilities are usually way better and than in the public universities. The public universities also are much more flexible into their programs. Okay, so for example, if you study at a public university, you can choose from a lot of courses, like where do you want to do your majors, minors, extra courses, and so on. So they're much more flexible with the curriculum, as with private universities. They're a little bit more structured. So we're going to give you most of the times a curriculum that you should follow. Of course, you still have choices. You still able to choose a few subjects, but that does not mean that you're going to be so free as you are in a public university. And then for public universities, they have a really big number of study programs. So universities include like a lot of careers, while in private university there's a limited range of study programs, of course, because they're smaller. So they concentrate in a few fields. Okay. Is it one better? Is the other one better? That is something that you have to decide for yourself. Okay, here is just like the difference between some of them ranking wise. In some cases, public universities can be better than private ones. Private ones can be better than public ones. I think it's like, do your research in about education, about the offers at that university. And of course, they both have bad sides, good sides. So you have to really choose what fits you best. One plus and one that it's not here from public universities, I know they have a way lower amount of courses in English. Okay, while private universities have a way bigger offer of courses in English. So for students who do not speak German, it could be more difficult to find a program completely taught in English in a public university. So moving on, about qualifications to study in Germany. In Germany, there are two types of qualifications. Okay, one called the direct entrance, and one called the direct admission. Sorry, and the one called the indirect admission. And how do you find out that? So that's pretty hard, because it's like one rule for every single country in the world. So there is not like one rule. Okay, it's not like you did high school in your country, you went to school, you can enter university. No, Germany does not work that way. So for every country, there is a different rule. And how do you find out? You go to one of these websites. Okay, you go to either DAAD or to DAAD, sorry, or you go to Uni Assist, and their websites include information about like if you're able to study here. If you have, for example, I put like here a picture of IB program or A levels or high school degree. It's a little easier sometimes for us to know, because those are like for us to know, like memorized, because those are the ones that we see the most. But if you have a different degree, then you have to enter one of those websites and take a look if you qualify for a direct admission. Let's say you do not qualify for a direct admission, then you might still qualify for an indirect admission, and that's then you're gonna need a foundation year. Okay, we call the foundation year in Germany the Studienkolleg. There are a couple of foundation years in English that you can do in Germany already, and there's always the possibility also to study 1 year of university in your own country and then to transfer, and that is also possible, and that's also a indirect admission way. Okay, but as I said, every single country a different thing. So you either go to these websites in case you want to study with us. You can also send your transcripts to us via email, and we can tell you if you qualify to study with us or not. So, following to the next one, visas, because that's like kind of important topic, right? So, if you're not a citizen of EU or does not have EU citizenship, or you do not come from Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, or Switzerland, you do not have the right to study or to live and to work in Germany. Okay, so you will need a visa. What are the visas available? So the first visa would be the student, of course, because you're a student, so you need a student visa, and this is valid for the duration of your studies here. And this visa can also be extended. Okay, so for example, let's say your program is 3 years program, but for some reason you're a little late and you need a half a year more. So you can always extend that visa. Okay. After you finish your studies, Germany has a very interesting option for students who come from countries that cannot work here, which is the job seeker visa. So this is designed for students who completed studies, so a bachelor degree or a master's degree in Germany, for them to stay here for 18 months and look for a job. So during this 18 months, you're allowed to work in whatever you want, okay, in any type of job you want to work with. They give you 18 months for you to find a job. At the end of these 18 months, you will need to have a job in the area that you studied. What does that mean? So, for example, let's say that you studied business here, okay? And after the 18 months, you have to have a job that qualifies you to stay in Germany in the area of business, okay? Which is a huge area, so it's easier, okay, to find something. But let's say, for example, you cannot renew your visa after this 18 months and work in a restaurant, okay? Because that does not qualify as a business job, okay? So the job that you find after these 18 months really needs to be in the area you studied in Germany. Okay. And this visa cannot be extended. So there's no extension of the job seeker visa. This visa is actually after the 18 months is changed into a job visa in case you found a job. If you didn't find a job, then you will need to leave Germany after. But 18 months is a lot of time, so most people do find a job within the first month of this visa. Okay. So next one, Germany in the industry. So just so you to have an idea which companies are here. So we have a huge amount of companies in Germany. So for example, in our region, there is a huge Amazon. Google is here. BMW is from here. Actually, Porsche is from here. So you do have a lot of options to find a job after. Okay, and a lot of universities already have this link to the industry. So for example, we have partnership with Henkel here, we have a partnership with Kuhne and Nagel down there, with DHL, so that our students can find also internships and later even job at these companies. Audibine, for example, is there also. They were actually created at our university. So this is something for you to um, know, okay, where would you have a chance. Yes, and that's it for our little bit on studying in Germany. um,
Great. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you very much, Giovanna, for this presentation. Very interesting. I think it gave everyone a great insight into the higher education system and how Germany works, also regarding visa and everything. And so now I think you have an idea on what to keep in mind when applying for studies in Germany. So now we are looking forward to learn more about WAU. We will start with a short video.
As we walk our different paths through life, we sometimes find ourselves faced with a situation that takes us outside our comfort zone. We feel doubt and confusion, but we know we must keep moving forward to succeed. Obstacles block our way. Tackling new problems can seem overwhelming. And new challenges drive us to do better, to be better. Some days we feel like we're just a face in a crowd. And others, we can feel like the spotlight shines on us alone. But we must not be afraid of failure, because the family we find in our friends and mentors can guide us, can motivate and remind us that with courage and commitment, anything is possible.
It is still so that excellence from the beginning on was a core value. In other words, it is about quality.
As an individual, we learn that here, thinking differently can mean thinking innovatively, which is not only celebrated, but encouraged. As a community, we look to each other for support as we head towards excellence. And together, we see that our goals are within our reach. We find the strength to grow, to succeed, and support others along the way. This is the VHU spirit.
Okay, so I'm back then after this quick break for the video, and we're gonna talk now a little bit more specific about WHU. Okay, so about us, we are a university called WHU Otto Beisheim School of Management, and this person here was Otto Beisheim. We started in 1984. We offer currently two bachelor programs. We have 55 professors, and per year we receive here 72 guest lectures. We have over 1000 well, now we have actually over 2000 students already, so that number already went up since our last presentation, and we have more than 220 partner universities worldwide. Okay, so here is just a little bit like for you to have an idea how our campus looks like. So on your left corner is the Deutsches Eck. So it's where two rivers meet in our city, or near our city. So that's a very nice place to go. So everybody that's here in the city, we actually tell them that they have to go there and take a picture. On the right side, you see the Marienburg courtyard. That's a little courtyard in our building, which is actually in below in the left corner. That's our building. It used to be a castle, so it's really pretty. And on the right side, below the Marienburg, you also have another castle, and that castle a palace in Koblenz. That's something that you need to know about Germany. There are a lot of castles. Okay, so there are a lot of fairy tale places. You're gonna see a lot of castles. You're gonna get sometimes tired of seeing castles. Okay, if somebody can get tired of seeing castles. So it's a very, very fairy tale country. Yeah, here are some other attractions in the area. Cologne is an hour and a half away by train. Frankfurt and the Frankfurt International Airport are also 1 to 1 hour and a half by train away. So it's a very central place. So why us? Why WHU? So we take pride in our academic excellence. Okay, so we're one of Germany leading business schools. For example, we're going to go through rankings a little later, but we would just rank the 13th best business school in Europe and the second best in Germany by the Financial Times. So we really take pride into our academic excellence. We have a very international mindset. It's an international journey to study at VHU, so at WHU. So it's not only because we speak English here. That's not what makes us international. It's you're gonna have international classmates. You're gonna be speaking English the whole time during classes. The courses are taught in English. You will have 1 semester abroad. You have to complete an internship abroad. So it's actually not only an international school, but it's an international journey. We have a strong business network, so we have a career center on campus, and they help you to find internship. As I said, you have a mandatory internship abroad. You actually have two mandatory internships, so they will help you with that all. Okay. About the next one is studying their optimal conditions. We have a really cool campus. We have a gym on campus. We have Wi-Fi in the whole campus. Students are like usually live 5 to 10 minutes away, like walking distance from campus. The campus is within our city, so it's like you're gonna like go in the street, you're gonna see a building from our university. Then you go in the city, you see houses, and then you see another building, and then you see like not again houses, and then like a supermarket. So, it's kind of like a mix between the city and our university. And then we have the WHO spirit, so the WHO spirit, which is like we have a very, very supportive community. we really know our students by the name. We know everybody. The teachers know the students by the name, and we support each other, and we act as a community, not only within our university, but also within the city and with the people who live in our city. Falindar is a relatively small city, okay? So we do act as a community the whole time. Okay, so next we're gonna go, as I said, like one of the reasons was the optimal conditions. So about our campus a little bit, we have very small classes. So as I said in the presentation about Germany, private universities usually have small classes. So, for example, our courses go up to like a max of 14 students. Our big classes, let's say, like for example, in the beginning of the semester of your course, when you have like, let's say, Introduction to Finance, that class is going to have like a max of 80 students per class. Okay, so that's already a small class for Germany. The more focused seminars, they have like usually 30 students per class. We have extensive flexible hours, so students are able to contact us, the teachers, like very flexibly. There is a buddy program for new students, and there's a regular communication between the program and the university management and the students, so that we know if you're happy, if you're not, what is happening, how can we help further, and so on. And as I said, the VHO spirit. So there you go, the support and engagement of our campus, of our students on campus and also outside of our campus. Our facilities are open 24/7. We have mobile connection and access to scientific databases for our students. The lecture halls are super fully equipped, like super nicely. Wi-Fi across the entire campus, as I mentioned, and we have a gym, a cafeteria, and a bistro for our students and employees. So next coming up, excellent reputation, as I said, about the rankings. So first of all, let's talk about accreditations. What are accreditations? So accreditations are basically some seals that says that this university is a good university and that your diploma from there is valid, is a genuine place to study, okay? And that your diploma can be also valid in other countries. So we are accredited by these three institutions, and I carefully advise you guys to please, when you're looking for a university, look if they are accredited. Okay. Because if they're not accredited, something is wrong there. Okay. Most of the universities that I meet in fairs, even with SRT and etc., they are accredited. Okay. So you can trust them, but do look if they're accredited and be sure, because that is going to influence if you can work later. Okay, that's going to influence your diploma, that's going to influence your career. Then the second thing are rankings. So the rankings, yes, not every university has a high ranking, or is it's in the ranking. They should not be the only thing you focus, okay? Because rankings are very subjective. Each ranking looks at something different, okay? So they should not be the top one priority ever. But we do take pride, of course, like whenever you win a prize, you're happy, right? So we do take pride also on our high rankings. So for example, as I said, Financial Times elected us the second best in Germany, the 13th in Europe. We are the first one and then the top tier of the multi-rank too, and so on. Okay. I just saw that a question came up and I can already, like, I'm in this slide, so I'm gonna say like what type of accreditation should you look for. As far as I remember, most of the universities, at least in Germany, the private ones, they do have these three ones, okay, but it depends on when you want to work to. I know like FIBA is for Germany, and I'm not sure if AACSB or if Equus is for, one is from the US and one is from Europe. It really depends on where you want to work, but just make sure that at least in the country that the university is in, at least in their country, they're accredited. Okay. It can be also that in other countries, when you're looking for universities in other countries other than Germany, they are not so focused on accreditations for like in international accreditations. They are more focused on being accredited in their own country. But at least that the Ministry of Education of that country recognizes that university and that university is serious. At least that. Okay. Good. So, anyways, bachelor programs. We offer two bachelor programs, one in business psychology. So this is a degree, it's a bachelor of science, okay, in business psychology. So it's for that student that really wants to focus on the organizational side of business, wants to work with people, is way more related to the market part, or like wants to be a little bit more in marketing, product development, personal development. It's not so focused on, like, say, the CEO, CFO financial part, but it's more focused on the people part, on the like communications and the relationships, okay? It's still business. It's not psychology, okay? It's not like let's sit in an office and be a psychologist. That's not your point. The point is the mix between the person who knows a business, who knows how to work in a company, who knows how to also how to be a CEO, how to be a CFO, but she also has this psychology part that she can work with people. Okay, so we it's a course of six semesters, so total of 3 years. The language of instruction is completely English. The location is Falendar, our city, and a partner university, and you have to complete at least two internships. Okay, and one has to be abroad. Sorry. So here is a little bit of the semester concentrations of business psychology. So you start with the core modules of business and economics and the core modules of psychology. In between, as I said, you have two internships, you have concentrations, which are courses that you're allowed to choose what you want to. And then you also have a semester abroad, either on the fourth or the fifth semester. At the end, you write your bachelor thesis, and congratulations, you're a business psychologist. So, moving on. Oopsies, I moved on too quickly. Sorry. Okay, moving on to Bachelor in International Business Administration. That's also a Bachelor of Science, but the focus here is international management, way more focused on the manager side. It includes finance, it includes accounting, it includes way more that management side, and it lacks completely then the psychology side. Okay, it's a 6 semesters course, 3 years too. The language here changes a little bit, so it's either like you can study completely in English, but you can also choose to study in English German if you speak German really well. The location is Valendar and the partner university, and we have also two internships, at least one of them abroad. The career opportunities here, they lie a little bit more in business consulting, marketing, and finance. And we go to the core the modules of business international business administration. You can see then what is the difference, that it lacks psychology. Okay, so all your credits are going to be considered, like in the first semesters they are concentrated in the core modules of business and economics. This means way more finance courses, way more math courses, way more law courses. Okay, is it better? It's just as good. Okay, like it really depends on what do you want to do in the future, and which field do you prefer to work in. Okay, so I said that we have one semester in another university. So we have a network of 220 partner universities worldwide, so basically you can study anywhere during that semester. um, I'm going to jump a little bit through the career prospects now, just so you know what do our students do after graduation. So, around 46% of them are now continuing in education. What does that mean? They go to a master's, because that's actually one of the things that we do tell students. I mean, if you have the option to also study further, why not? 36% take a gap year. What is the gap? What do they use the gap year for? The gap year is used to do further internships or soul searching in what do I want to work later. So students, they focus a lot during these 3 years in their studies, and they have a lot of content in their heads. So even the director of our career center, she sometimes even like tells them take a gap year to absorb everything you learned and to just do like internships and things for you to see where do you want to continue your life. um, some of them, of course, go directly to work. So they enter banking and finance, they start their own company, they do consulting, and so on. A good amount of years after graduation, so that you know where a student is already in their career, because he already like started his career and stick to it, is usually 8 years after their graduation in a program. And our students are usually in consulting in the bank and financial sector, and they are founder, most of them. Okay, so it's I think 15% consulting, 15% banking financial sector, 15% founders and entrepreneur, and the other ones then are divided by sectors. Okay, and now talking about the entrepreneurship. So we have a lot of students who started their own company. So right now we have 15 unicorn startups on campus. So 15 startups that is on our campus and are considered startups. And Giovanna, what is a unicorn startup? So in the venture capitalist industry, a unicorn is a privately held startup that has a value over $1 billion. And we have 15 on our campus, which actually makes us very. So I about the so our students, they usually have a lot of clubs. Okay, so as I said, they're very engaged. So for example, you have some competitions, some sport competitions like Era Masters. You always have the students who like to help in the city. So you have the first rooms, you have the charity concerts. So there are a lot of options for you to help community and also make friends and also start clubs or to join clubs. Okay. So how is your path to study here? We're gonna go to the admission requirements directly. So yeah, admission requirements. So you first have to the CV and a letter of motivation. We do read them. Okay, so do take your time, research on our website. You have all the information about how they should be, what the letter of motivation includes, and so on. We made like even samples for you guys. So please go through the website and read them very carefully. Do take our time reading those documents. We also ask a second include, of course, you have to have finished high school. So we need to know what did you study, and you have to meet requirements to study in Germany. So yeah, you have the option to do a abitur or A levels or IB diploma or the high school you did in your country. Okay. If you meet requirements to study Germany, as I mentioned in the beginning, you can consult the EAAD website or Uni Assist website. Or if you want to study with us, you can send us via email and say, "Hey, do I qualify to study with you guys?" And we will be happy to answer. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to need is an advanced English language skill. Yes, the course is in English, so you need to prove you speak English. You need either a TOEFL or a IELTS or a Cambridge. We do not accept Duolingo. Okay, either TOEFL, IELTS, or Cambridge. Or in case you completed your secondary completely in English, let's say you studied in the US, a high school degree, or in our own country. I saw there's somebody, for example, from Honduras. So if you live in Honduras, you maybe high school, okay, and you study completely in English, you also qualify for the waiver, okay. But other than that, we do not grant any exception on that requirement. And the next requirement is a experience. Okay, so why their bachelor program? Yes, for a bachelor program. So our students, they usually complete before the course starts a 6 internship. Okay, it can be divided, it can be in different companies, and so on. We do ask our students to have a little idea already about what it's to work in a company and business related. Okay, so this rough like areas that you can work with is really big. So that's why I tell you, if you're gonna accept your pre-internship, you just have to send us a no. I know some countries do not allow people underage to work and so on. Here, we're gonna find a option always. It's actually like we don't have a lot of cases, but if we do, we're always gonna find another option. So you just have to let that. This should not be the thing that you from studying here. So about our admission requirements. Oh my God, I passed. If it's too fast, sorry. So going to admission process. So the first one is of course send your documents to us. Then we have a review process. Okay, so we received six more than 600 as was like almost 700 applications. We have 250 places. Okay, so we have to choose and to look at all the documents. After we look at all the documents that we received, we select of the almost 700 applications, we select 150 candidates who go to our final admission round, which is online. The first test, okay, so it's an online in diagrams, exercises online test. Then it's presentation and questions. Presentation is a theme and choose whoever whatever you want to speak about, and the questions are based on your personality and your motivation. So we want to know you. There's no preparation. You just have to prepare the presentation before, but sometimes we even get like questions like, "How can I prepare for this?" It's like, no, you can't. Like you have to know yourself because that's what the questions be about yourself. And then in the end, one interviews, okay? And we get then 250 study places. So our application period October to May every year. So we're now at March 5th. What is the early bird? Means there is no application fee. After March 5th is an application fee of 50 euros. And you can apply with your most recent scorecard or your predicted or your midterm report card, anything that you have. So let's talk money. Yes, WHO is a private university. We have to talk about the tuition fees. We have tuition fees per semester, 7,900 for EU countries, including Switzerland, and 12,950 semesters for students from non-EU countries. Okay, the living expense calendar are approximately 900. That can be way lower depending on your living places. Okay, so if you say, oh, I want to live in a single apartment and I only want to eat in restaurants and da da da, yes, it's gonna get a 900 and 1,000 per month. But if you say that you're gonna have a normal life, a normal student life, and you're gonna cook your food and you're gonna live in a shared apartment, it can get even up to 500 to 600 euros. Okay. I know prices sometimes is scare a lot, but we do offer quite a lot of scholarship. Okay, so let's talk about finance now, and that it's the nice part, the scholarships, right? So first of all, we offer our scholarship, for example, the Women in Business Scholarship for girls who want to study, the Global IB Scholarship for students who studied IB, the Talent in Business Psychology for students who want psychology. There's a very nice scholarship for students from non-EU countries. It's the Excellent City Scholarship. It gives the non-EU students of EU students. So it's almost like it's a 50% discount, almost like on the goal already. So we do tell non-use always apply to this scholarship because we're pretty nice scholarship also. And there is also two other scholarships which are called the Admission Process Award and the Undergraduate Scholarship, which students do not need to apply. We basically give them on merit. So, for example, the Admission Process Award, it's the three top students from our admission rounds. They get automatically the 20% of the Admission Process Award. And the VHAL undergraduate scholarship gives a discount to students who are very promising and we see really good grades and they have scored really high in our process. Okay, and just last but not least, we do have a couple of sessions coming up. So in February we have our showing session. In and in September if you want to join. And we also the open days, which is kind of like we have a lecture with a professor, director talking about the program, our students answering questions, and you can always join. Okay, yeah, that's it pretty much about WHU. Thank you much for your attention.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Giovanna. It was very interesting to hear everything that WHU has to offer and to learn more about your two BA programs. And great that you mentioned the accreditation. It's super important to always check that a uni is accredited. And also very good that you mentioned the open days. So yeah, if you have the chance to drop in and see for yourself, it's always a good way to see if it's a good fit for you. Well, now I would like to also welcome Ellen back to the stage because we're gonna start now. We still have some time for the Q&A session. A lot of questions have already been answered by your presentation, Giovanna. You did great. So, for example, we heard already about scholarships and at the beginning also about visa requirements. We won't get into questions about individual acceptance because as Giovanna said earlier, for it depends on your country and many factors. So for that it would be best to check the DAAD site or Uni Assist, or ask directly at the university in the international office of the university you're interested in, for example, directly to Giovanna and Ellen at WHU. So first question I think is interesting for everybody. Giovanna, you mentioned the gap year after graduation. Richard is asking if it's okay to take a gap year between the completion of high school and the beginning of the studies. And if so, when should he apply for the studies, before the gap year or shortly before the year he actually starts? Yeah, just a question for you, Giovanna.
Sorry. A little problem with the internet keeps going and coming. So if I'm gone, Ellen will. I'm still here. Yes. So before the gap year between high school and university, of course, we can tell you that too. You can apply already. You can apply as soon as you finish your high school. Okay. You can send out documents. You can do the admission process, and if you want to reserve your place for the next year, there's no additional cost to reserve your place. You're just gonna sign the contract in the next year, and you start with us in the next year.
Okay, perfect, Giovanna. Yeah, the connection is not the best, but we can still hear you and we and understand you. Yeah, and Ellen, if you also would like to add something, don't hesitate and like to jump in. um, so we had many questions about the costs of living, housing, tuition. You already mentioned what it would be like in Valendar. Giovanna, can you maybe tell us more about what would be the monthly costs you would expect? Maybe Ellen, this one is for you.
Yeah, I think Joanna might be gone. Um, so in Germany, it's relatively low living costs. It depends a lot, of course, about your habits and where you want to live and what you want to eat. We have many housing options about 5 minutes away. Most students prefer this, and it's also relatively cheap. I don't know how much a month, Giovanna. Do you know what it would cost approximately, these housing options?
I couldn't hear back, but I can add a little bit on what Ellen is saying. So, about price, it can go from 300 per month to, let's say, 6 to 700 a month. So it just depends. Okay, so it depends if you want to live alone or if you want to share. But we have from 300 to, let's say, 500-600 euros per month.
Mhm. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that information. We're having a question here about the. You already told everybody about the application deadline for WAU. Maybe we can show that slide again, or could you? Because we had more questions about this now. Could you remind everybody? Juan, for example, asks, can we apply, for example, a year before finishing high school, or should it be when we are close to finishing? Just to give everybody a bit more of that timeline. Ellen, if you want to start, or Giovanna.
Yeah, so you can apply for this year if you want to start this year, but you can also apply now and take a gap year and start in 2024. This is possible. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah. So up to a year before is possible.
Okay. Okay,
But we
perfect.
will also always recommend to use this gap year for something, take internships, travel, gain knowledge, or yeah.
Mhm. Perfect. Then we had also visa-related questions quite a lot. How long can international students stay in Germany? You mentioned the visa question earlier, but just maybe in a bit more detail. And can international students work at the same time when they are studying? And do, for example, the bachelor programs at WHU allow for that, the timetable? That would just be interesting to see, I think. Giovanna?
Yeah,
Ah,
I hope you can hear me again.
yes, 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 we hear you.
Students are, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, Giovanna, go ahead. We can hear you. All good.
Students are okay, so oh, I'm back. Students are allowed to work 20 hours per week during their study, and during their vacation times, they are allowed to work 40 hours a week. But they have to be a little careful because there is a maximum amount of days that they can work per week. I mean, usually no student does that amount, but they just have to be a little careful. They can work 20 hours during the study period, and it's 40 hours a week.
Mhm. Okay. Um, then another interesting question: is it important to have internships to before you apply for one of your bachelor degrees? Sadida is asking that. Um, Ellen, do you want to reply?
Yeah. So we do require an internship before starting at WHU, but when you apply, you can either apply with a proof of internship. This is what I've done. It has to be a minimum of 6 weeks, and it can be divided into several internships,
Mhm.
but they have to be at least 2 weeks per internship, and they cannot be any older than 2 years. You can also apply with a proof of a coming internship. So the only requirement is that you have to finish the internship before you start school.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm just seeing some comments here. You will receive a recording of the webinar. So if you couldn't, like, if you missed an information, you will be able to watch it again and see. Um, then we have one question, a general question about Germany here, which might be interesting for everyone. Is could you give us a few quick tips on the cultural differences, the German etiquette? Are there any norms you have to keep in mind? Anything that has puzzled you, or that usually comes to the attention of students that just arrive there? Ellen, anything you can think of?
Um, that's a very interesting question. I I would say that German can be very direct sometimes, which is please don't be offended, but it's also like sometimes it can feel a little stiff, but often it's very helpful because when you come from a different country, you don't know what's going on, and they will tell you. I myself come from Sweden, so I have some experience moving to Germany, and I also want to add, I think it's very interesting coming to Fallenda. It's a small campus, and you feel like you're in a different part of the world. Like you always meet students from all over the world, and it's very interesting just to walk over our campus, and I love it.
Okay, yeah, that's great to hear. That sounds very international and diverse. No, studying at the WHU, so it's a great sign. Um, I have one more question regarding the language requirements that was also mentioned before, but Jose Alfredo would like to know more about the English requirements, if there is any flexibility on the score of the TOEFL, for instance. Ellen, can you answer that?
No, yeah,
No.
yeah. So we we accept the TOEFL, IELTS, and Cambridge, and we do have our minimum scores, and you can read everything about it on our website.
Now you're muted,
Oh,
Ellen. I
my, I think my connection got bad.
I think you
Can you
were
hear me?
muted there for a second. No worries.
Do you want to continue, Giovanna? Or
Hi, I just have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, the internet is
But yeah,
against
I
you
just
today, no?
want to say I thought the points of English. No, we are not flexible.
Hmm. Thank you as well, Giovanna, for answering the question in the chat, that students can work 20 hours a week during their studies and during vacation 40 hours. I think that's also useful for everybody. And you stay in the chat, okay? Yeah, if if you can't be online again. Anyways, we're almost at the end of the webinar. I think for just a quick last question before we stop, to Ellen, what's your favorite thing about Germany? Just to give students or interested candidates just another feel how it would be like. What would be the most?
um, I would say I have two.
Mhm.
One is that it's in the center of Europe, so you can travel everywhere around here. I find it so interesting. Two
Mhm.
hours and you're in France, 2 hours you're in Belgium or in Netherlands or Luxembourg. I find it so interesting. You can go and take a weekend somewhere and really experience a lot of countries. And Germany too. It's whether you go to the north or to the south, there's so many different cultures. So that's very interesting. And I also love the nature here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Well, I think we can slowly wrap up. As you can see on the screen now, there are again the email addresses of both Ellen and Giovanna. So if you have any question about admissions, etc., for WHU, don't hesitate to contact them. Also, as said before, any specific country-related questions regarding admission, you can also check out the DAAD's website, DAAD's website. Yes, so I think this was a very complete, very interesting webinar. I hope you all enjoyed it. And yeah, thanks. Thank you so much, Giovanna and Ellen, for your time, for answering all those questions, for your great presentations, Giovanna. And thank you also to all our listeners. Thank you for taking part and for being so active in the chat. That was really great. We would like to see you all again very soon in our next webinars coming up in February and in March. We have webinars on studying in the UK, France, Italy, Canada, and Spain, as well as on business studies and arts and design. So it would be great to see you again. Thank you again to our amazing presenters, and have an amazing rest of the week, everyone. And yeah, a lovely evening or afternoon wherever you're joining us from. Bye bye. Thank you very much.